Hello, my name is Debo Adejana, real estate entrepreneur, MDCO Realty Point Limited. They call us the Sack Your Landlord people. And you're welcome to Real Estate Business with Debo Adejana. As a voice of the industry, I would be talking about something that it's common discourse and a challenge, I must say, to practitioners. As an agent, a realtor, a broker, whatever you call yourself, you must have come across situations where people just think, principals, the vendors, people who give us briefs, just think sometimes that you are not worth what you are being paid. So, Wetin agents they do sef? Are they worth their fees? That's a question. So sometimes somebody wants to negotiate you to the bone marrow, almost to zero level, and you can see from their countenance that is coming from a position of, hey, what have you really done? This thing didn't take long. I just told you how many days ago. You just showed one or two people. So I'll be discussing on this. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Now, Wetin agents they do sef? Are they worth their fees? Let me share a recent experience with you without divulging, private information, as it were. So there is this transaction that we've been on, and immediately it came, and looking at the price they wanted us to go to the market with as an offer, it wasn't anywhere near the market price in that area at all. We did our own investigation as a proper agent should do, market research and survey. And we were able to engage the principal, discuss and advise on the kind of price we think that the property will go for. Now, of course, in this property, and I'll discuss this in another video, there is the element of cost and value, if you understand what I mean. Cost and value. I will discuss that. So there is that disconnect between what they had spent and what the market will take as the value of the property because of where it's situated. So we had this discussion, and it was clear that they would not be getting the kind of pricing they were thinking they would get. And the fundamental reason was not because they had not spent that much or they were expecting too much. The main reason was that they've spent far much more than they should in coming up with that property, especially once they knew that they were going to sell. Some things were done as if the owner wanted to live there, if you understand what I mean. Not about quality. There are qualities and there are qualities, and there's a difference between doing things to my taste and doing things to the market taste. Okay? So that was the situation here. And we knew that we had a challenge on our hands. In fact, before it got through us, we got information that it has passed through a number of agents. It's been in the market for over a year. You know that kind of property. So we went about pushing this property in the market. And hardly does any week pass that we don't take someone on inspection. Sometimes 2, sometimes 3 people. And everybody kept coming with this offer, with this particular price. They were just roaming between plus or minus 5 million naira. Okay? For example, maybe we're getting 70 million, just for example, 75 million, 70 million, 75 million, 70 million, 75 million. And the owner wanted to sell at 90, you can imagine. So, eventually, we got someone who was particularly interested. And you know how somebody is interested. When somebody inspects your property, maybe at his first inspection, he wasn't with his wife, and then he took his wife there, and then the wife also liked it because they didn't complain. He's finding out about whether he can change one thing or the other and all of that. He's already finding out some nitty-gritty details about the property. You know that the person is interested. So we're able to get this person to move for the purpose of this video and for explanation's sake, to move from 70, for example, to 80. And that was the only person we were able to get to that kind of price. This is like about 10 million difference from, I mean, just using these hypothetical figures, 10 million naira different from what the owner would have loved to sell. But in the market, actually, the property shouldn't be sold for more than about 70 to 75 million max. That's the truth in the market and in that region, But of course, it is worth more than that in the sense of looking at the costs and the things that have been expended on the property ordinarily. Do you get what I mean? So we're able to get this person, and this took us, of course, we got this person. I spoke to the principal, my other colleagues spoke with the principal, and they were just insisting on making this man move up to, let's say, another 5 million, And initially, before we consummated the brief, they had negotiated the typical rate an agent will collect on such a property. I think the typical rate is like 5%, on sale, on that kind of sale. And they had negotiated that to, like, for the purpose of this discussion, like 3%. You can imagine. So when this came up, I knew that we are in for, a major thing. And then we were ready to make sure that at least the property, for us, what concerns us most of the time is that let's make this sale. Yeah, we'll make some money. Once we can break even, make a little margin, let's make this sale, because it is in the turnover that we are interested in, not just in putting. And then by the time you finish the property and you are holding it for over a year and all, costs will start mounting, even for the principal. We made them to realize all of these. And it took like about 3 months from when this guy was able to increase his offer to when they finally were considering it seriously, because the guy would not just move. Later, they went to the guy and said, okay, do 82.5, for example, instead of 85. I said, no, it is this 80 that I can do. So then they came back to us to say, hey, guys, you guys would have to also, we also have taken some losses. You have to also take in some losses. Can we review the fee payable? I said, well, let's review, no problems, we are ready. And so we negotiated with one of the principals. So this principal is like a constituent of about 3 or so people. Then I was told that one of them would also like to talk to me. Of course, the tactics of negotiation. Having negotiated and agreed with one, another party is coming to see whether they can get something lower. But this is where I'm going. In my discussion with this second party, I mentioned something to him, and the way he responded is typical of the kind of what do agents do, safe, or are they really worth this fee, or aren't we paying too much already, kind of vibe that I got, So I said, for us also, for example, talking to him, I said, for us, the area you also sell, the better for us, because the longer we keep marketing and all of that, our cost continues to increase. And he said, really? I said, yes. So what a number of people don't realize is that for an agent to sell a property or rent out your property, be able to conclude on your transactions, there are a number of costs it would incur. A very good agent. Okay, most agents will incur these costs, no doubt about that. They include, one, advert cost. We would have to advertise. In this particular property, we kept it on, okay? Online advert platforms, offline advert platforms, we kept it going week in, week out, expending money, okay, on this to keep it in the market, okay? Advert cost. Yes, your agent would incur that. The agent has an office, most of the time would have an office. He has rent to pay. I hope you know that it's from the business it generates, okay, that he would pay rent. Rent cost is there. He moves about, transportation cost, whether he has a car, he has a driver, or he takes Uber, or he takes even Okada, or he treks. There is a cost to transportation, okay? That's transportation cost. And if I keep going on inspection back and forth for 5 months, 6 months on a property, my cost continues to mount, okay? So, calls I make, cost, networks for me to be able to sell a property. I would rely a lot on my network of co-agents, okay, colleagues, and network of possible buyers, my past clients, okay, my database, and all of that. That's network. To nurture and continue to keep in touch with this network, you know what it costs to build a network and to keep in touch, to keep them hot, to keep them very, very, like a hot list, as it were. You know, it takes some relationship and all of that, some sending things here and there, making sure you visit, making sure you go for their naming ceremony, the office is doing something, they want you to support a cause that they are interested in, an NGO and all of that. I mean, all of this comes at a cost to the business. It may not be a one-off cost for your particular brief, but don't forget, it is for the aggregate of the briefs that we are able to service this network and keep these relationships. That's it. So if I'm able to sell your property like this, simply because I have somebody in my network, does not mean it is not costing me money, because it costs me a lot to keep that network going and sellable. Okay? Then, of course, most transactions would have to share agency, because I may be the owner of the brief, as in the principal agent to the brief, but I may not be the one who brings the buyer. And the buyer may come to me through someone who does not really, somebody that I have told about the property and who keeps marketing it, and then see someone that wants to sell. So that's my sub-agent. Most of the time, his commission or his share of what he earns from all of those activities would have to come from what I earn from the principal as regards that. So that sharing formula, sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes even more than that. Sometimes even the principal owner of the brief, the principal agent, gets to get less than, because there are a lot of agents, you know, what they call chain. So you don't know the kind of chain, how lengthy the agents are that eventually consummated in bringing this buyer. And all of whom will get some share of mine, of course, and of course, usually on the sellers, on the buyer side also, in this case I'm the seller, the buyer side also, I mean, depending on how the thing goes, they would also share stuff there. You know, so sharing, I would have to share, is a cost. Of course, if I have staff, I don't run my office alone. I have people who support me to send mails, to do this, to call, to follow up, to go for inspection and all of that. I have salaries to pay. That's a cost. You know, that's a cost. And time. Eventually, the longer all of this takes, the more the cost. And so I was trying to tell him that, hey, the reason why is we've agreed to what we've agreed to is because we just feel that at least we'll be able to break even. But if you are asking me to take this other rate you are negotiating, I'll be operating at a loss. You don't want me to operate at a loss, because then I won't be able to sustain business and I'll be out of town in no time. So I need you to appreciate, I need the viewers to appreciate, the voice of the industry. I need the viewers to appreciate, especially our principals, people who give us briefs here and there, you know, appreciate the fact that your agent does a lot of work. There's a lot of input that goes into selling what it is that you've given them to sell, or getting a buyer, or helping you to get a property that you've asked them to help you to get. In terms of maybe rent or sales, a lot goes into these things in terms of cost. So when they ask you for their fees, please be magnanimous enough. I mean, be considerate to pay them what is their due. Waiting agents, they do save. I'm sure you know now a lot of what the agent does. And are they worth their fees? I say 100% yes. We are worth our fees. I hope that you've benefited from this. If you're an agent, you need to share this around so that let the news go around there that we are worth our fees, that yes, we do a lot of work to make transactions go on and get concluded. Be proud of what you do, especially when you do it professionally, which is how I encourage people to do business. If you like the video, please click on the like button. If you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I will encourage you to do so. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notification button so that whenever we drop any video, you'll be one of the first to know. It's always my pleasure discussing very educative and informative topics on this medium. Okay? I remain yours sincerely, Debo Adejana. Till I come your way another time. Keep doing what? Sacking your landlord.